Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel if you're coming back, and welcome if you are here for the first time. My name is Em, and I'm currently on a journey where I'm watching every single Disney animated movie in chronological order and ranking them on a tier list. So today's episode is The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, which is actually our final film that is not a single narrative, which I find really interesting. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad was released on October 5th, 1949, and The Wind in the Willows is based on the 1908 novel of the same name written by Kenneth Grahame, and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is based on the 1820 short story of the same name written by Washington Irving. Bing Crosby narrates the Legend of Sleepy Hollow segment. And if you don't know who Bing Crosby is, all I gotta say is it's not Christmas without Bing Crosby. And J. Pat O'Malley voices Cyril, Mr. Toad's horse, and then we'll see him pop up again because he also voices Colonel Haiti in The Jungle Book. Side note, do not look up the alternate titles for Agatha Christie's, and then there were none. Sometimes my research sends me down a little bit of rabbit holes because J. Pat O'Malley was in the, I believe it was the Broadway play production of And Then There Were None. If you are curious, you can, but it's a doozy. It's a doozy, and all I gotta say is, sometimes history surprises you a little bit. Anyway, so two people are actually credited for voicing Mr. Winky in the Wind in the Willows segment, but as far as I'm aware, it has not been officially confirmed who voiced him. If it has been, you can always correct me. In fact, if any information I ever get wrong in a video, you can correct me, and I will absolutely come back and say whether or not I made that mistake. Or I'm willing, I hate to say it, there are things where I'm like, I will correct you, and I will have a conversation about it, but, I hope you don't get offended if I have a little discussion, and I'm like, this is what I actually meant by this, and this is how it actually is, because I don't mean any harm if I do research, because I've been corrected before. Walt was introduced to The Wind in the Willows in 1934, and his brother Roy acquired the rights in 1938, but Walt did not want to adapt the story, calling it awfully corny. But with some convincing, The Wind in the Willows began initial story meetings in September of 1940. This film was originally planned to be a single feature. Animation work had begun in April of 1941 as Bambi was being wrapped up, but then production was halted due to the animator strike that summer. I believe the animator strike went from May to September, and then production then started back up in October of 1941, but was quickly halted again due to an ultimatum given by the bank. They essentially said, we'll give you a loan, but only if you produce shorts and finish movies that were already in production, and examples being particularly Dumbo and Bambi. Due to this, no other film could be worked on until Dumbo and Bambi were released and costs were recouped. The production would begin again in October of 1943. During this time, it was decided that the film would be packaged with The Legend of the Happy Valley, which became Mickey and the Beanstalk, or Gremlins, or The Gremlins, based on the story by Roald Dahl. Maybe another time in another video, I could talk about Disney's plan with adapting The Gremlins by Roald Dahl. And they did end up producing a storybook. I think it was like a little golden book. You know, you remember those Disney little golden books? I think they still exist. I've seen them at stores. But I think they produced like a little golden book or some kind of book. Maybe another video I could actually talk about Disney's history with Roald Dahl's Gremlins. And I mean, they did kind of in some ways appear in like the Epic Mickey games. I digress. That's like a whole other tangent. Anyway, In early 1947, production began on The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It was also planned to be a single feature film, like The Wind in the Willows, but by October of that year, it was decided that the two would be paired together in a double feature film. And most of the voices for The Wind in the Willows were recorded in 1941 before World War II had begun in the United States. And the film made $22.1 million worldwide when adjusted for inflation. Both segments, meaning The Wind in the Willows and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, aired separately on the Disneyland TV show in 1955. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow was re-released into theaters without The Wind in the Willows in September of 1963. Subsequently, The Wind in the Willows was released into theaters without The Legend of Sleepy Hollow in 1978. So we kind of had the thing. Remember how I said in my Melody Time video, if you've seen my Melody Time video, then you might remember, that I talked about how initially all of the segments on Melody Time were released on different VHS releases. So The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad did the same thing. So the two segments had their own separate and combined home video releases. But I believe that the separate releases came first, which I find very interesting. And then The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad were not released on VHS, meaning the whole movie of them together, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, was not released on VHS until 1991 in the United Kingdom and 1992 in the United States. And the film has received good reviews, praising the more mature qualities of the film while also keeping it more interesting for children. I also think it's a very beautiful film, if that makes sense. Like, I think that just there's parts of it that are actually kind of like really pretty. Like the backgrounds in particular, gorgeous. I love Disney background artists. Particularly, Mary Blair is one of my favorites. But I digress. I love, look up Mary Blair art, and I love her. Anyway, so the film won the Golden Globe for Best Cinematography, which makes sense. I didn't even plan that. That's okay. This film continues to have a legacy at the Disney parks, and there's a cafe themed to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow at Disney World, a Toad Hall restaurant at Disneyland Paris. I would love to go there. I think that's really, really cool. I think a Toad Hall restaurant would kind of be really, really dope. And then Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland. Rest in peace, all Disney World people who remember it being at Disney World. Rest in peace. We lost a great one that day for... What is there now? Winnie the Pooh? Winnie the Pooh. Yep. I believe it's Winnie the Pooh now at Disney World. Anyway, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland, which is... If you haven't been on it, it is truly a wild ride. My husband and I went to Disneyland for our honeymoon, and I specifically did not tell him what was going to happen at the end to see his reaction, and he didn't know what to do. It was so funny. It was really funny. Anyway, and the Headless Horseman being featured in both Disneyland and Disney World's Halloween parade. And the characters of The Wind in the Willows, hold on to that thought, because they will return in Mickey's Christmas Carol. So I wrote this like I'm going to cover Mickey's Christmas Carol in this series. I'm not. I don't know why it completely spaced my mind of, oh, I'm going to cover this. I'm not, because it's only it's not a feature-length film length. So in a way, it's a long short. Maybe I'll do it as a Christmas special for y'all, a bonus Christmas special. If y'all want that, put that in the comments below. If you want me to do that as a bonus Christmas episode, so we can have a Christmas episode, because listen, with how this is going, I will say it was around Halloween time when I watched this, but due to life and being a full-time college student and life being hard, I'm probably not going to get this up till who knows when. As I'm recording this, it's the beginning of November. Who knows when this is actually going to go up, because I have the end of the semester is in about a little over a month. And so I'm kicking and screaming over here, and realizing that I can't really indulge my hobby right now, which is really sad. I really do love content creation, but there are things that, and I do love this channel and I do love what I do here, but I have other priorities that I need to prioritize that I sadly haven't been with my studies. And so I'll try to do this when I can, when I have free moments of I'm not doing anything and I'm in the mood. I will, because I care about you all. And I truly and deeply adore every single... I cannot stress how thankful I am for every single one of you. And I'm so happy. I get so happy when a video does really well for my channel. Like, to other people, a video reaching over 300 views does not matter. But to me, it does. And so thank you to everybody. I recently created a community space. My only stipend is that you have to be subscribed for a week. I did put that. So sorry to those of you who are new subscribers, but you can chat with me there. You can ask me questions. I'm willing to answer them. And if you have anything of like, hey, would you be willing to cover like Mickey's Christmas Carol for around Christmas time, because we want a Christmas special, but we understand that you have a chronological agenda, which means that I'm probably going to end up watching Christmas movies in like August, and I hope y'all don't mind. But listen, I'm a big proprietor of Christmas all year round, or just the Christmas spirit all year round. I don't have a problem with that. I'm a big proprietor for, Thanksgiving is cool, but listen, my family was never big Thanksgiving people, and so listen, we have our Christmas tree. And my husband has said, we got to put the Christmas tree up soon, because, I don't know, he just asked me if I could put the Christmas tree up soon. So, anyway, I appreciate all of you. And if you want to chat with me and talk to me, I do have a community tab. Please let me know in the comments if it's not working, but I have started that. Please be kind, please be respectful, but if you want to talk to me, I'd say I'm pretty active, even if I'm active, like, even if I'm not posting as much, I'd say I'm pretty active in comment sections, and I'm pretty active checking my channel and everything, so, so I think that if you want to chat with me or get to know me a little bit more or ask me questions, feel free to talk to me there. Anyway, here are my husband and I's thoughts, because I don't really have much else to say. This wasn't a very long script, so I hope to see you all later. And thank you for being appreciative and watching my content and helping me grow. I appreciate every single one of you. So let's go on to our comments and our thoughts. Alrighty, so we just finished The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, I believe is what it is called. Is its official title. And I've seen this one before. This And it's not been recently. It's been a while. I used to watch it at my grandparents' house because they had it and my family didn't own it. So I knew everything that was going to happen in beat for beat. I remembered a lot. Yeah, I actually remember a lot. But I remembered a lot more about Mr. Toad than I did about Ichabod Crane. I think because I got scared of Ichabod Crane. And so I wouldn't watch it very much. Which, it's a little spooky.
It can be spooky, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know which one I would say I liked more, though, is kind of the thing. And I think it's because they're both different types of stories. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's evident given that, Mr. Toad is, or what is it, The Wind in the Willows is the original, is, a UK origin story. Well, not origin story, but, it originated from the UK. While, Ichabod is one that originated here from the US. They have very different styles of writing. And you can tell, especially given the ending of Ichabod, it just kind of ends, and then it's yep, and all of the bad ending that you could have imagined happened. And then you're like, oh, and then it's yep, the end, close the book. Watch out for the Headless Horseman on your way out. Have a good day, good night. I was like, dang, okay.
Yeah, and I will say, I didn't hate the Mr. Toad segment, but I don't know. I just felt it. I don't know if it was the mood I was in. I just felt like it was so long. Maybe that was just me. But I do like both of them. I do adore both of them. I don't think this is as good as Fun and Fancy Free.
That was the last one we did, right, with the Beanstalk. Just making sure I have the right one. Yeah, I mean, even just Beanstalk alone, but also Bongo. I think I put Bongo a smidgen higher. But it's not far behind. Because I think what I would say is, in my opinion, I think Mickey and the Beanstalk is a lot better than Bongo. Not saying Bongo's bad, but that Mickey's does a lot more for it. And I feel like the difference between that one and here is that these two shorts are pretty equivalent in their quality of storytelling and stuff. Like I said, I made a joke about the Ichabod ending, but it's still good. I love the musical numbers. I thought the music was fantastic of Ichabod. And Toads is a great story. There's a lot of fun action and stuff. Very classic Disney and classic cartoon era humor. I was actually laughing a lot with the scene with Ichabod on the horse, and he's running from the Headless Horseman, and his head hits the branch, and he wheels upward and lands on the horseman's horse. And then as soon as he realizes it, his head hits the branch again, and he wheels back upwards back onto his own horse. So I just loved it. I thought they were both fun. They were both really good. So I feel like that's kind of what makes it different. Is I feel like Mickey's is better. I think we can agree Mickey's is better than both of them. But, Ichabod and Toad are very similar, and so you get that consistency between them.
I think that they're both also, in some ways, they are a little bit more of mature stories in their respective ways. I feel like with Mr. Toad's, he, in the way that, they, Mr. Toad definitely would appeal more to children, but, deep down, he gets arrested and all these things. And I'd say just in general, it does still have those Disney family friendly elements, but I'd say it is a more mature, especially with our next story being Cinderella. You definitely see a little bit of a gap here in where, especially coming from Melody Time, you definitely see a little bit more maturity happening here between these two stories.
I was also going to add that, about that maturity, they're both written closer to what, to the way, The Great Mouse Detective is written, where it's kind of a very more mature style of writing, obviously still family-friendly, and still something I would totally be okay with my kids watching. Mm-hmm. There's not really anything objectionable in here. But they deal with more topics that aren't typical things you talk with kids. I mean, Toad suffers from high mania syndrome, right? The next best thing is the thing he's constantly chasing, which is really not something that you really teach or show kids very often. And so I think it's an interesting message where you can kind of pull a little bit of temperance from it, in a sense. Even obviously excluding that it's a fun adventure and about, the other messages it's about.
I think it carries that Pinocchio-ness into it, where it's like clearly there are lessons to be learned here, and that you can show these to your kids. I don't know if much as Sleepy Hollow, I think that one's a little bit just more fun.
I think Sleepy Hollow would have had its lesson be more important if Ichabod didn't just end there the way it did. Because I feel like I could have seen something of a brains versus brawn type of thing. Is Ichabod is this graceful crane-like schoolmaster, and he's meant to be very much kind of like for to use a D&D term, he's a skill monkey in comparison to what was his name? I think his name was Brawn, wasn't it? So it was very kind of a little
Brahms.
bit on.
His name is Brahms.
That's
no,
right.
His name is Brom Bones.
Brom Bones, that's right.
Yeah.
But his name is Brawn. And so I think he's very literally a stand-in for, the type of burly Gaston type. We even joked that he's American Gaston before Gaston was a thing.
Yeah. And I'd say with this, I wish that even to make a point and to prove a point, I wish that Katrina had a little bit more reluctancy in marrying Brom. I wish in that scene where it showed her getting married to him, she looked a little bit reluctant, because I thought that's what was going to happen, and it didn't.
It just
so it kind of has some conflicting things there. I don't know if it was supposed to go for a moral messaging the way that Toad does, about, evidence and innocent until proven guilty, but also consequences that will happen to you. There will be people that you will associate yourself with that are not trustworthy if you go down certain paths, but yeah. And I think that that's a smart thing. I find it interesting compared to the attraction at Disneyland. Rest in peace, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disney World. Y'all lost it a long time ago. But
yeah, that's a fair point. The story plays out massively different on the ride.
Yes, and it does play massively different on the ride. And there's something to be talked about of why that might be. And I think the reason is, and the reasoning is just with, so here's a little Disney history lesson of why I think that is, I think that when they were doing that, because primarily the point of the ride is just you're on a joyride, essentially. And I think the reason that they did that is to, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but there is an ending. If anybody wants to talk about it in the comments and spoil it. But the ending of the ride, and I think it is to disillusion children. I think it is literally, it is to disillusion children from reckless driving. They didn't want to encourage that within kids. And I think the movie ends in a way that the ride really couldn't end.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the movie really goes a different way. It's almost so in the movie, you literally don't even see him really drive at all. He gets it and it gets immediately arrested. And then there's the whole court scene. And so it's interesting that is the case. And then in the ride, the whole ride is just that hypothetical joyride that he had. And what happens from it.
Yeah. And I find that really interesting. And I think that with these two, I just think it's good. I think that you should add at least just the Ichabod Crane portion to your Halloween watch. You know, I think it's a fun movie to add. And I don't know. There's not really much to say about this one. I think I don't want to put it above Fantasia. It might be below Fantasia.
Yeah, I'd probably say below Fantasia is pretty good. I think I still put it below Saludos Amigos, maybe.
I think below Fantasia, but above Three Caballeros for me.
Okay, I could see that.
Wait, no, do I put it below Three Caballeros? No, because it's good and the pacing is good. The thing that I love Three Caballeros because it's good, but the pacing is atrociously awful. Mm-hmm. And that was my critique of the Three Caballeros, because it's a good movie. The pacing is just atrociously, horrendously awful.
I don't know. I just like the Three Caballeros. But yes, I think we can both agree below Fantasia a little bit. I do. Oh, this was something, speaking of Fantasia, something I wanted to point out that I thought was really cool. Mm-hmm. I like how the Horseman was basically like entirely in a different art style. I pointed that out because he's like, you know, Ichabod is still using that kind of cartoonish art style of the design he's had the whole short. But the Horseman uses this like really realistic. I compared it to Fantasia with all the different scenes in there, like Merlin and stuff, where he looks like incredibly realistic in those. And the same thing with the Horseman. It's like the animators really loved drawing him, and they wanted to make him look scary and make him stand out with the way they drew him.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think that's really cool because, like, oh, can I just talk about the background art in this movie and praise the background artist for this movie? It is, I mean, they keep hitting. They keep hitting with the background art, even as we go through this wartime and the animation is less, you know, detailed. But you can tell with this one they got a little bit more money, honey, because they went all in on the Horseman. And just they keep hitting with these backgrounds, and I think that it kind of started with like did it start like Fun and Fancy Free has really, really pretty backgrounds, and this one also has some pretty backgrounds.
The last two, I think, since Bambi, pretty much Bambi had some really pretty ones.
I don't think it was as much with the Saludos Amigos and Three Caballeros.
I'd say so. They had some gorgeous backgrounds for both of those. I mean, think about, like, I know you didn't like it, but the song they have in Mexico had some gorgeous backgrounds. Were the ones
they had in Mexico?
Yeah, the one that was kind of a little bit like 40s kid brain rot one.
Oh yeah,
it was very pretty. Like it had very pretty.
Yeah, by this I mean like a painting. Those I don't.
It was like a painting. It was pretty. We'll need to rewatch it then. But for sure, Saludos Amigos. For sure. Like I made reference to the Pablo story where they have the mountainsides. Those are gorgeous.
Yes. Okay. I do remember Saludos Amigos being pretty. I think that like Fun and Fancy Free was really pretty. Just like these backgrounds and these background shots is what I'm talking about. Maybe they had it a little bit with Make Mine Music and Melody Time. Oh yeah, I remember Make Mine Music being gorgeous. But Melody Time, I think they might have had it a little bit. But like these ones, I remember like, oh my gosh, this one particularly, the backgrounds were really pretty. Like each of them had like sweeping shots and like of Toad Hall or like of the countryside of like upstate New York. And
yeah, I'm kind of sad. I mean, I know studios just don't animate this way anymore, which is sad, but it is kind of a lost art, you know? It's gorgeous, you know? They probably had like one or two background artists for this scene just like go nuts and have fun and make this beautiful landscape. I mean, I guess in some sense it reminds me a lot of like a lot of the older Magic the Gathering cards were the same way. They would, especially the land types, they would just have a background artist just go crazy and make something cool. And so you have all these really gorgeous landscapes. And so it's really cool to see those.
This is a side tangent, but also I would like to see, can I just say something? So we play Lorcana, which is the Disney trading card game. And I think that, honestly, they're getting Black Cauldron, so I'd love to see some Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad representation within that. I think it'd look really pretty, and the art that comes out of Lorcana is insanely gorgeous.
All I'm saying also, if the people want Ichabod to finally have his happy ending, they can easily make a Dreamborn and give him his happy ending.
Yes, please.
I think he deserves it. After all that horror and being thrown off his horse multiple times and slamming into branches and getting hit in the head with a pumpkin.
I would like to see a Dreamborn where he's kind of like the Headless Horseman. I think that'd be an interesting Dreamborn. Anyway, so that's our thoughts. I don't know if you have anything else to say. I don't really have anything else to say. Oh, I have one last thing to say. What is this thing? Okay, as a shorter, bigger person, what was that scene with Brom and this? She was so happy to dance, and it just so happens to be that she is a shorter and a bigger woman, and it makes me so sad. Like, I was like, what is this entire scene as it was happening? You might say I need to get some humor. I didn't find it funny.
Okay, I thought it was mildly funny, but not in the way that you're thinking it was. Mm-hmm. To me, I thought it was funny because she clearly has not had much attention from guys compared to Katrina or the other girls of the village. Mm-hmm. And so, like, to her getting so super excited because Brom is like the man of the village, right? I mean, like I said, I compared to Gaston. It's like if Gaston suddenly tried to sweep you off your feet and you were like, oh my gosh, oh, whatever. And so I feel like that kind of eccentricism really, like, to the idea of like, wow, this really cool guy actually wants to dance with me, I think was a lot of where that humor came from. Is not so much because she's not traditionally appealing or something. I think a lot of the humor was she's being super eccentric about it and all the energetic dancing and basically flinging him around as they're dancing and moving around and squeezing him as tight as he can. So
I like that interpretation better. Okay. Yeah. So I just thought that scene was really interesting, and I could see it as we have to laugh at her. But I think you could definitely see it in that way, and I actually appreciate that because I think you could see it in that way. What else? I feel like
anything else?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything else.
I like the character designs. They all looked really good. I mean, Brom's the only one I kind of felt about, but I get that Gaston didn't exist at the time, so I'm kind of looking backwards and like with my presentist view. So like pushing aside at that time, he had a relatively unique design, so I think it's fine.
Yeah. I think...
Oh, sorry, one more. I will say, however, it is funny seeing all the girls swoon over Ichabod because I'm sorry, Ichabod. I root for you. You're the main character. You are not that hot. I'm sorry. That's not how it went. That's not how it went. You made it up in your head. Those choir girls don't actually exist.
Okay, I hate to say, if a man is interested in like women things or like is gentle to women, it don't matter what he looks like.
That's true.
You should be lucky.
What do you mean? I am that way too. I'm I am talking to Ichabod as a fellow not conventionally attractive young man. Like, hey, let's be real here.
Okay, you are not Ichabod levels.
Not Ichabod level, but like I'm no Brom either. Like nowhere near that extent.
Anyway, yeah.
Closer to Ichabod.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah. I don't think there's much else to say about this one. And I think it's It's a good solid movie.
Yeah, good solid one. Like I said, it's consistent throughout the whole thing, which was kind of something we talked about with the other short sets. Is there are some shorts that are really, really low, and then there are some shorts that are really, really high and are fantastic, and you love it, and then you go back to a low one, and it's kind of like, eh. But then I feel like this one, like, both of them were pretty equivalent, like, and they were both pretty good too.
Yeah, I'd say you can tell they're making money, honey. And I think that the reason you can tell that as well, just historically, is that then their next single story feature comes out after this, which I am so excited to talk about. I'm so excited for Cinderella.
We're finally into the movies I've seen.
You haven't seen most of these movies.
I've seen Cinderella.
You've seen Cinderella. I don't think you've seen Alice in Wonderland.
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen Peter Pan.
Saw parts of, not the whole thing.
Okay. Let me see. Lady and the Tramp.
Minimal of it, like maybe a few minutes tops.
Okay. So, yeah, so I'm excited to start getting into these movies because it's been a little bit, like, some of these movies I loved as a kid, and it's been a little bit since I've seen them. I think Cinderella is the one I've actually, like, most recently seen. I think we watched that, like, a year ago. You don't remember that?
Did we watch Cinderella?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember it.
Anyway, do you have any parting words?
No. Don't forget to subscribe, and it's okay if you look like Ichabod. You're still lovable.
Okay. Yes, that's true. And it's okay if you also look like the woman in the green dress in the dance scene. You're still lovable. And
we always talk about our short kings, but we also got to celebrate our short queens too.
As a short queen, we got to celebrate our short queens. Anyway, we hope you're doing well. And if you aren't, it's okay to not do well. Just don't forget to try to, know where you are and know who you are. And if you need a little bit of help, don't forget to reach out to those who love and care about you.
And never trust a weasel.
Never trust a weasel. Or a barkeeper.
Or a barkeeper. That is true. They hear a lot of secrets of the village.
Anyway, we hope you're doing well. And if you're not doing well, I hope that you create a time where you're doing well. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. And yeah. So thank you so much for watching and for all the support you've given me. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.